And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our first qualifying match of the evening. Welcome back to the LiuLi Cup 2024 Grand Finals Europe and Americas qualifier. And what a qualifier as well, featuring both regions, the Americas and Europa. And here we go, the regions, they do clash in this best of three, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo-Violet Square, we have the Polish Terran player, the Teal Terran. It is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the American Hope himself, the American Protoss, the Red Protoss. It is Astrea. Here we go, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this is going to be a very intense best of three. Personally, I would love to see both these players in the main event, but alas, there is only, at least currently, room for only one. As a reminder, though, there is a third place match available, so the loser of this series will have a second chance. They will have a second chance. But now, though, we're going to be settling in. Welcome one and all for the first time here tonight to Neo-Violet Square. I'm a little bit surprised. This is the most vetoed map in the map pool. As much, if not more, to El Dorado. I mean, quite comparable, I would say. Both those maps are just often vetoed every single time. Reason for that, of course, is because of how large and how defendable this map is. It is much easier here on Neo-Violet Square to expand and to stabilize and to max out on your 2, 3, 4, 5 base economy. Breaking a 5 basing player can be quite difficult here on Neo-Violet Square. Likewise, there are also gold bases available as well. There's the pachinko machine with these squares that can make things quite awkward to engage in the center of the map. So we might be in for a long one. Typically here on Neo-Violet Square, it is a game of greed, and I feel like that's where Spirit does thrive the most. But now, economic opener. Going to be a Rax into an expand into a more delayed factory. Is going to be settling in to his own build. Likewise, so is Astrea. Here we go. And again, Spirit, he just came out of a very intense TVP himself, but no rest for the wicked. He does calm things down, jumping right back into another Protoss versus Terran. I'm sure Astrea was watching. I'm sure he was paying attention to how Cristiano was approaching that series, and we'll see if Astrea does take a different approach. Something important to take note of is that Cristiano, every game, did go for a Blink-based opener, and did end up with a Gateway and Colossus-based army. What I'm getting at is we saw no Storm. There was no Storm out of Cristiano at all in that series, and I'm sure Astrea is willing to embrace that a little bit more in this best of three. But now, we're settling in, is going to be Blink. Twilight counter into Blink, Adept Shades across the map, will attempt to delay mining here at the natural. Takes down one Marine. One Marine goes down, boy is pulled. Mining is denied. And Astrea, he will shade away. Dips in, dips out. Disrupts some of the mining, gets the hell out of there, and back at home, Spirit going to be opening up with a Widowmine drop. Okay, let's go. Widowmine drop is on the horizon. Astrea throws down extra gateways. He does have a 3-gate setup, 3 gateways in the main. Ooh, and it looks like he's setting up to expand here at the pocket base. We'll see. Pylon is going to be thrown down, potentially just for spotting. Yeah, just for spotting, as Astrea is going for the linear third. So just a 3-gate blink into a third base. Very safe opener here by Astrea. Likewise, Spirit across the map, moving out with his drop. I assumed it was just going to be a Widowmine drop, but my apologies. It's going to be a Marine Widowmine drop instead. Going to be slightly more committed here by Spirit. Well, meanwhile, the Adept will spot the drop. At the same time, we have double Hellion on the right-hand side. So Spirit going for a split push. He will get eyes on the third. Pushing in towards the natural. Astrea otherwise distracted. Hellions, they do attempt to dive in. Nice moves out of Astrea, though. Does block off, does delay the Hellions. Will deflect, at the same time drop into the main. And the Marines have arrived. Probes, they're going to be targeted down. So far, getting 3 workers. Hellions, they dive in. Astrea is in position. But probes are still going down. Spirit barely gets 1, he gets 2 more. 7 probe kills in total, very nice damage. Blink is done. Oh, despite that, the mine shot goes off, takes out a Stalker, and the medevac will escape. Medevac gets away, and so far a very successful attack here by Spirit. Gets 7 probe kills and gets away with a medevac. So far, so good. Spirit, he starts things off with the lead. We do see Astrea going to be doubling down with double Forge. Oh my god. This tells us that Spirit is, sorry, that Astrea, okay, never mind. I was going to say it was going to go for a very gateway heavy composition, but it's going to be Forge into Robo. So just a bit of a misclick there from Astrea. Does rectify that. Trying to gain map control, but again, it's a large map. Spirit now dropping in towards a third. Only 3 Marines, not too much to work with. But he can potentially get another probe. So he gets 1. 1 more probe goes down. He's gonna, not quite get a second. There's a recall back home. At the same time, Banshee into the main. No detection is available here. Spirit just pulling Astrea apart. And Cloak is done. Do have a second Banshee on the way. This is game-ending damage here. Detection is so delayed. The Robo just finished. Cloak will eventually run out. The shield battery is done. But here comes the second Banshee. First one does escape. Second Banshee hits the third base. Again, no detection, no shield battery. Astrea pulls away. And he's just getting picked apart. That's 14. That's 15 probe kills. And this is game-ending damage. At this point, at this level of play, you cannot afford these losses this early on. Spirit back at home, now getting to his own third, building up. He won't move out until he has his upgrades, so his move out is going to be a little bit delayed. Stim, combat shields +1, it's all on the way. Once it kicks in, Spirit can move out, and I don't see Astrea surviving that. It's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a tough hold for Astrea. Again, he's trying to get into a gateway explosion. 5 gates are on the way. Here comes the move out. Astrea gets a Marine. Does get a Marine. Does force an early siege. So Spirit, he's still stuck on his side of the map. Observer does spot the move out. Astrea catching another Marine. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. Not bad. Picks up 3, picks up almost a 4th Marine. Forcing the tanks to siege once again. So very nice moves here from Astrea. Again, just slowing down the push, forcing siege after siege, allowing Astrea to build up and to warp in. And to amass an army. Meanwhile, Banshee's a hit once again. This time Astrea, he's ready for it. Takes down the Banshee. Much cleaner defense this time. Spirit getting his third. Astrea threatening a drop into the main. Ideally, you do want to wait for Spirit to move out before committing with the drop, but Astrea he just goes straight in. Straight for the mineral line, getting a couple of SCVs. Going for a warp in as well. At the same time, Astrea is pushing towards the third, but the tanks are sieged. Astrea can't commit, he has to back up, has to respect it. Spirit Safari defends. But emphasis on the fact that Spirit, despite having a lead early on, he is staying back home. He is stuck at home. Going for the War Prism. Doesn't quite get it. Spirit now moving out. Astrea working on his splash damage. The Bay is on the way. Spirit, he needs to try to slow this down once again. Oh, Astrea, sorry. Astrea needs to try to slow this down once again. Setting up for a potential surround as well. But there are just so many Marines. Just such a supply advantage here for Spirit. Astrea, he collapses in. Tanks a little bit late to siege. Tanks are going to be going down. Gets both. Both tanks do fall. But what about the Bio? What about the Marines? What about the Marauders? Spirit, he can just stim and win from here. May have lost the tanks, but he doesn't need them. Doesn't need the tanks. Back at home, no shield batteries. Astrea, he dives in. Does focus on the medevacs. Nice pickups. Despite that, doesn't quite get all of them. One of them does survive. And Spirit, he can just keep pushing. Can just commit from here. There's a warp in though. Oh, the prism goes down. Astrea, he's barely holding. does barely hold on. First Colossus is on the way. Astrea, he is still yet to stabilize though. Still far behind. And Spirit will soon pull the trigger. And headed towards the third. The force field does attempt to slow down the army, but again, there's just so much to work with. The Colossus goes down instantly, and GG gets called. Spirit, he will take game number 1. GG. Spirit does snowball into a win there, and again, a lot of that was off the back of the economic damage he had dealt earlier. Again, it was insane what he was able to achieve with the early drop play, the Widowmine Marine drop into the main, followed by the Banshee harass as well. Unfortunately, Astrea, he was late to get into his own Observer. If you remember, the Robo was delayed as well, because he had to cancel the Forge, then rebuild the Robo, so just a really rough opener there out of Astrea, led into delayed detection, and alas, led into dead workers. And that was game-ending damage at the time. Even though Astrea did do a good job at delaying the move-outs, I mean, Spirit, he was still just snowballing out of control. He still had an insane economy, an insane army as a result, and Astrea just could not keep up. Not after all those losses. With that, that leads us into game number 2. Leads us into game 2. And we'll see if Astrea can bounce back. I'm sure he can. Meanwhile, it looks like we are getting other observers. Other observers are going to be joining us. And I believe that means that the other match has concluded. And yes, we have confirmation. Again, exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the Wikipedia page or the challenge bracket. But as you can see here, Skillus takes down Mana 2-0. Skillus, congratulations. Nikita is the first player to qualify through this qualifier into the LiuLi Cup 2024 Grand Final. So congratulations to Skillus, and Mana will have another chance. Mana will be facing off against the loser of this series. So if you're a Mana fan, we'll be casting him later on. And again, because that upper match has concluded, now all the casters have joined us. Shout out to, of course, the other language casters as well. Indy, TKL, Saber, of course, who is the organizer of the event. But now we still have to conclude our series. Here we go. As game 2 is going to be on Ultra Love. Getting into Ultra Love. And personally, I'm hoping for an ace match. Regardless of how this goes, I'm hoping for a game 3. I mean, I feel like we were spoiled a little bit with Spirit versus Christiana. Like, so far, that has been the highlight of the tournament. But I'm hoping for more here. I'm hoping for more. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the teal Terran player. The Polish Terran, leading the series 1-0. It is a Spirit. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss. The Protoss hope himself down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force that ace match. It is Astrea. Here we go. Catching up. Hello, Ponyo, hello. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you, good to see you. Always here for some Max Angel. Vámonos, papi. Sí. I mean, again, I'm hoping for an ace match. And again, as a reminder, regardless of how this series does conclude, the loser of this series still has another chance, as they're going to be facing off against Mana in that next round. Or in that final qualifying spot. So we still have more matches, don't you worry. Now we're going to be settling in. And again, we saw a much more aggressive side of Spirit last game. He was very much so in Astrea's face, and he was abusing Astrea's greed as well. As Astrea, he did delay warp-ins, he was teching up, of course, and he did have less to work with. Was shut down. here on a smaller map like Ultra Love, I would imagine that Astrea is going to take things, or is going to take a different approach. We take a different approach. As Spirit does open up with a single cast into an expansion on the low ground. Going to be a Marine-based opener. Spirit is not going to be opening Reaper. Oh, Marine into a follow-up Reaper though. Okay. Marine is revealed. Astrea is going to be zoned away. As Spirit does expand. And with his Reaper, he can of course move out, harass the mineral lines, and keep eyes on Astrea to see where he does head. And now he does open. And of course, welcome one and all to Ultra Love, a much smaller map compared to Neo Violet Square, but still a very defendable map is what I will say. We've seen a lot of late game on Ultra Love just because of how defendable the 3rd and the 4th and even the 5th base are as well. Likewise, a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation. A lot of areas where it can be quite difficult to push through as the aggressor. We'll see how this goes. But now the Reaper dips in. Heads towards the main. Astrea, meanwhile, he's across the map. He does take down the initial Marines. Marines going to be falling. At the same time, though, probes are going down. Oh, Astrea does not have anything at home to defend. Probes are going to be falling. Likewise, he will get some SCVs. But is it quite worth it, though? It's going to be 3 probe kills. He's going to get a 4th. Potentially a 5th probe? No shot. As the Stalker is still halfway done. There we go. The first Stalker has arrived. That's going to be 4 probe kills. Can he get 5? He wants it. He wants the 5th probe. He gets it as well. 5 probe kills. The Adept across the map. It was on. It was again trying to push in. Gets 1 SCV. And now Spirit can mine. Yeah, just the 1 SCV going down. Spirit back at home. He does defend. Hellion taking a lot of hits. Oh, he does get the Hellion. Not bad. Hellion does fall. And Astrea, he doesn't stop with his aggression. Now that he has that with the Reaper, he does move out. Hoping to push into the mineral line. Widowmine is set up though. Behind this, Astrea going for an earlier rover. It's going to be 2 gate into a rover from Astrea. We'll get 1 SCV. Up! Mine shot goes off. Brutal connection. Stalker goes down. This is not worth it for Astrea. And so far, Spirit in a better position. In a nice position here, moving out with his drop. Establishing himself on 2 bases. Likewise, Astrea taking his 3rd. So 2 gate blink into a 3rd base. Astrea trying to be a little bit greedier here. Makes sense after losing 5 probes. Will find the drop. But Spirit, he will boost in. Does boost into the mineral line. Astrea, he should react in time. Oh, does pull away. So far, just getting 1 worker. Likewise, Widowmine waddles in, but does get targeted down. Clutch move there by Astrea. Cleans up the Widowmine. So far, so good. Astrea, he does defend. Does survive. Spirit building up back at home. Going for his add-on swap, going into Stim, combat shields. As we mentioned time and time again, Spirit most likely will not move out without his upgrades, so there's still a bit of time here before Astrea is going to be under threat. As the upgrades have begun. And Astrea is now taking up into a bay, into a forge. This time there is no Banshee harass. So nothing for Astrea to worry about back at home. So Widowmine drop does come back in. Oh! Mine goes off, takes down another Stalker. These trades have been brutal. Another Stalker goes down. Colossus production has begun. And Astrea at least has eyes on the move out. Spirit actually pushing a little bit earlier. Stim is not done. But Spirit, he does break out. So far bleeding out Marines. 7 probes going down across the map. The auto turret going ham. And Astrea, he is in trouble. Nice pick also. Catching a couple more units. Slowing down the push. Stim finishing up in a couple of seconds. Combat shields is on as well. And back at home, Astrea, can he keep up with this? The first Colossus has arrived. Spirit, he's holding onto that stim. Does boost in. We'll siege the tank. Tank volley's going up for the Colossus. Takes down the pylon. Pylon goes down. Double drop on the right hand side. Spirit going for a split push. And there we go. He goes for the dive. Shield barriers are ready. The Colossus goes down. And from there, Astrea, he just cannot keep up. The soldiers are falling one after the other. Nice target firing here out of Spirit. GG gets called. And Spirit, he will take the series 2-0. Qualifying for LiuLi Cup 2024 Grand Finals. GG. GG, well played, Astrea. Otherwise distracted there with his army. The Colossus was on hold position, was just left on its own. Same with the main army. And Spirit, he was able to sneak in, focus it down, and just snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. Very decisive play there out of Spirit. A bit of a more one-sided series. We did see some uncharacteristic mistakes out of Astrea, though, is what I will say. Both in Game 1 and in Game 2. Did see Astrea slipping up a little bit there. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Spirit does claim the series. Congratulations. He's going to be the second player to qualify alongside Skillus for the main event. But the question becomes, who is the final player to qualify? Because Astrea still has one more chance. He's going to be going up against Mana in the final best of 3 in the final qualifying match. Let's go. Let us go.